Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you how to cheese the boss, the Sundered Monarch, in Lords of the Fallen 2023. So this boss can be done a few different ways. I just did a few throwing items there, as this boss is weak to smite and bleed, and both those items are bleed. I have the bloody enhanced hatchet there, as well as the seal that does holy and bleed damage. Now once you do your first 3000 damage to this boss is when the game really begins. Now he does a few different attacks. It looks like he's going to sneeze there, and he throws out the daggers. Now I used Pieta to make this fight a lot easier because I was struggling with this one, to be honest. So how you can beat him in a cheese strategy is to use a lot of throwing items, as he staggers really easily. This is at one of the first patches in the game. The game hasn't even been out for a week yet, so maybe that'll change. But the throwing bloody hatchet can stagger him if you hit him with two of them, and it's pretty easy to throw them relatively quickly. But for the first phase, while I have Pieta there tanking, I was getting a lot of damage in. Now he's weak to blood or bleed damage, so I used the bleed salts, and they made a pretty big difference. His attacks are pretty well telegraphed, but he may attack once or he may attack 3 times. That's what makes this boss fight a little bit tricky, as the timing on his attacks, while it is telegraphed, he is kind of hard to read and he jumps around a lot. For some reason, it somewhat reminded me of Malekith from Elden Ring, but a lot slower. He does use that item there. If he grabs you, it'll do pretty much your full health bar, unless you have a decent amount of vitality. I have around 30 here, and I found that I was running out of health pretty quickly with this one. So you can see there I almost went down, because he does have a large area of effect. I didn't think I was getting hit by that, but I did. So my strategy was to throw a lot of throwing items, but I wanted to, for this attempt, do as much damage as possible while Pieta's still up. But you're going to see here how the throwing items can stagger him. Now when he does that two-hand jump up in the air, get ready to dodge, because he does have that ring that comes out from it, which makes it a pain. But there we go, we got him in the stagger. Make sure your endurance is high and you have lots of throwables, because you can just continue to stagger him, and it makes this fight a lot easier. As you can see there, I've dealt 6,600 damage to him. Lots of bleed damage and lots of stagger built up. He won't really get staggered that easily, so if you're looking to do a critical strike, this might not be the right boss for that, but you can really drain his health bar with some throwing items. So that was the strategy there. Do as much damage you can with Pieta up tanking, but then you can just use the throwing items. And if you want to make this easier, just use the throwing hatchet the whole time. These do scale with strength or agility, so whatever skill set you're using. Now if you do use magic, I'm sure you can do something similar with some magic items. There's some really great throwables that I think do a great job with this, but I'm sure there's a lot of spells too. I just don't use spells that can cause a stagger on this boss. He does stagger really easily, so that's something you want to take advantage of. Now he will jump to the side and dodge these, so you have to be mindful when you're throwing them. I honestly do think the Sundered Monarch is the true final boss of this game. The next boss is not as hard, and this one, it actually is quite a challenge. I had to do it a few times to get comfortable with it, but I found that the throwing items really did cheese this boss as much as it possibly could be done, because things like that happen. He goes to do his jump attack and you get the throwing items in. I didn't do this perfectly, mind you. You could have done this much better by just sticking with the throwing items from the very beginning, but I wanted to get as much damage in with Pieta as she could do a good job tanking and also heal the character. Now this is one of the annoying things that happens in Lords of the Fallen, is you get stuck inside enemies sometimes, or stuck inside the wall. I was able to get out, but I lost pretty much all my health, so this is when things got really dicey in the fight. Now, when it does that attack, it's going to bring those daggers down onto the ground, and I ended up getting hit by his area of effect scream that is not very well telegraphed, so be mindful, you can get hit by that attack pretty easily. Now I got very lucky there, and I think I had the invincibility frames, but I didn't get hit by those daggers falling. But I got a lot of damage in here, and this is when I was feeling confident in the run. So I popped my final ammo pouch and just got to throwing the hatchets. This makes the Sundered Monarch an absolute breeze. His attacks are pretty easy to dodge as long as you keep a good distance. Not too far that you can't throw items, but just far enough that you can hit him and he can't hit you accurately, and you'll be able to take him down pretty easily with this strategy. Now I had to play pretty defensive near the end, so that's why I was mostly running away from him, just trying to keep that health bar, because I did not want another attempt, because these attempts do run quite long. This one I was able to burst his health down pretty quickly, but some clutch dodges there, and did get hit for a little bit of damage, but His attacks, again, are pretty well telegraphed, and he's easy to stagger, so watch out for those slams and throw the hatchets. He'll be down in no time. The Sundered Monarch and Lords of the Fallen 2023. If you found this video useful, please hit that subscribe button below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.